Breaking news, a teenage boy has been shot and killed in Seattle's Central District.
Police are searching for the person who shot and killed a teenager. Officers found a 15-year-old boy shot in the stomach.
Something has to be done eventually.
We shouldn't be losing our kids this young.
It breaks my heart to stand over a casket of these young folks. It breaks my heart to show up to a scene of a shooting victim. It breaks my heart to have to embrace and hold the families and lift them up and give them the support that they need in that time of grieving. It breaks my heart. And I got tired of having my heart broken and not having any answers for it. Community Passageways has some answers. Community Passageways has the services that are needed and the support systems that are needed.
We've been able to save hundreds, maybe thousands of kids from going into the court system and catching them at a young age. And that's the key thing for me. And that's the key thing why I think our organization is so important, because we're catching these people while they're young.
One thing I've learned how to do is love young folks where they're at, not where I want them to be. I can want you to be a rocket scientist. That's not where you're at right now. So I gotta love you where you at, and together we walk side by side to get you where you want to be and where I believe that you can be.
Community Passageways cornerstone program is CP Fit, Community Passageways Family Integration and Transitioning. That was our very first program. That program focuses on court diversion and family engagement. As we pushed our way in the door of the criminal justice system to create a space to have a community voice, I started thinking about how some of the judges, seeing our work and seeing how we came in and advocated for the young people, some of the judges actually started speaking in support of Community Passageways when they started seeing the results that we were getting.
I put a lot of youth into Community Passageways instead of incarcerating them. I was able to see the effect of the Community Passageways program on youth. When people talk about wraparound services, that is exactly what Community Passageways does. They make sure the youth gets to school on time, they meet with all the youth's teachers, they stay in touch with the principal, and it's really 24/7 supervision, support, and love. And you know, in that kind of a situation, young people just thrive.
I quickly learned that Dom and Community Passageways followed up on what they said they were going to do in working with kids, supporting them every day, and helping them meet their goals. I would meet with Dom along with my clients, and I would explain a difficult legal concept, and then Dom would sort of like interpret or translate that. It would work with that young person to understand a system that is so complex, so at odds with what we know about what kids and adolescents need. And Dom would really walk with me, and we would walk together as we work to help a young person.
Watching the system learn how to trust Community Passageways, watching that happen was powerful. It was a long, hard road, but building that trust was crucial in building those relationships in the system. Really happy that we're able to sit back and enjoy the fruits of our labor sometimes, because we didn't used to do that. We're always in emergency mode. We're always constantly trying to take care of the next fire that's going on in our community. And we have been purposeful in this last year to sit back in our all staff meetings and really talk about the success stories.
And it's crazy, because it's like, you know what I'm saying? I was just walking up and down Rainier Avenue. I didn't know where my life was gonna take me. I knew I had great vision. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't have anybody to guide me in the right direction. I barely knew how to open a bank account. The things that I know now because of Dom, taxes, bookkeepers, all the essentials to running a business, all that stuff comes from Dom and him allowing me to have this business, which was basically my baby, and raise it up with him right there every step of the way. A lot of people don't get that opportunity. Dom put all his effort into me And that changed my life. And I'm very thankful.
I went from sleeping in my car with my kids turned innovator. And what I mean by turned innovator, I ended up learning about a tech program from Community Passageways. And that took me out of that bad place I was in and all of the thoughts I had telling me that I could never do it. It reaffirmed my faith in myself. So went through the process of interviewing and I ended up being accepted. And then Americans for Equality taught me different things that I could use to help myself in my career in the future. The people need Community Passageways. Look at me, I'm a living testament. So I definitely thank them so much for everything that they have done for my family and I.
I found peace in the fact that, there was people on this earth that cared about me. They cared whether or not I lived, if I breathed. They cared about my children. And even those times when I was, running away from the organization, they continued to run towards me, checking on me all the time, and there's no amount that I could go to be able to repay them for what they've done for me.
When I first met Community Passageways, I wasn't really into it. It wasn't for me. Eventually, Community Passageways helped me change my ways and do better in a great way. And as well as that, me turning into a father, having a son, that also gave me more reason to look into Community Passageways and look for that help and look for them to help me put me back on a different path, on a better road.
Because of that effect that we had on the criminal justice system in a positive way and getting young people down the positive track, doing the right things with those opportunities we presented to them, CP Fit grew. The team grew, the team has doubled, and now we are even having a bigger effect in the criminal justice system. But off of CP Fit, another arm grew out. We started doing reentry. A reentry program is probably one of the most successful reentry programs in this state.
I spent 21 years just about at Washington Correctional Center for Women. And during my time there, I noticed that a lot of my friends were coming back and they were serving my sentence in installments. I wanted to better understand what was missing in the community that would propel them to come back to prison so often. And while sitting down with my friends, they said they didn't feel like they had a sense of community in the community. And I couldn't understand that. That was the missing link. What I love about the reentry program is that we offer wraparound services. We want to make sure that when individuals are coming home, that they feel supported, that they're not just having resources thrown at them, but that we are actually walking them through the process. So with Community Passageways, we make sure that we help individuals build their reentry plans. We do it prior to them coming home, and we not only deal with individuals or assist individuals that are coming home, we assist those that are struggling to stay home. Those that may be struggling with substance abuse, homelessness, reconnecting with their families, we make sure that we are there with them and that we are helping them absorb any resources that are in the community that would help them be successful.
And seeing the different people coming out of the criminal justice system doing 15, 10, 12, 20 years, and now some of them are going to University of Washington, some of them are going to Seattle. People got full-time jobs, they got housing. Their family dynamic has changed and shifted. Their whole mental state has changed and shifted. So it's been beautiful to watch that program blow up and grow into something that is so powerful in our community that more people are asking to be part of it. Then out of that, we ended up doing homelessness outreach. So we have Community Passageways lead. Burien and West Seattle is where we're working at right now. And we're doing homeless outreach out there, working with youth, young adults, elderly, whoever's out there that needs help. The outreach team is out there on a daily basis. They're providing direct services. They're making sure people are getting what they need. They're feeding the people in the community out there. They're housing and getting people into shelters and hotels, getting them case management. They're doing the work that they need to do to help that population. I never thought that we would fall into a place where we'd be working with the homeless population. But like I said, Community Passageways molds to the needs of the community. And when we see a need, we try to fill a gap. We don't wait for somebody else to do it. So that's why that program was developed in collaboration with the LEAD program. We also have a program called Safe Passage, where our teams will step out into the community and work at a handful of high-end schools that are looked at as schools that have a level of violence at it that needs to be addressed. So our teams go out there in the mornings and we stand around the hot spots. We make sure kids are getting transitioned in and out of the school safely. We make sure that people aren't walking around the campus that shouldn't be on the campus. We're making sure kids that need to be in the building in class need to go into class. When the kids are going to lunch at some restaurants or some of the stores, we'll be in those spaces to make sure the kids are safe. I'm really excited because now we have caseworkers in the schools also. So now the caseworkers are in the schools 5 days a week doing high-level case management work with the high-need, high-end young people in the school, making sure those young people and those families are getting the services they need.
One of the great things Community Passageways does is collaborating with public schools to help students learn to advocate for themselves. Students seeing us in that building made a difference in them. They wanted to come because they knew that we were going to be there. They knew someone was going to check in on them. Those kids that counted themselves out when we showed up, they counted themselves back in. If we catch them now that we're in middle school, we catch them now, we're more likely to have success with following them to high school, which means the numbers increase of graduating students. Community Passageways needs to stick around. Students are able to start school and finish, and also after finishing, they are able to be productive youth. So Community Passageways gets results. Seeing our faces changes lives. Seeing the work that we do changes things.
We also have a deep dive program. Deep dive is what it is. It's a deep dive into the young people who have the highest needs of services in the community, who face the highest level of violence in the community. These young people are usually gang affiliated and are out here really with no guidance except for their homies in the streets.
I came across Dom and Community Passageways when I was incarcerated. I had 9 felony points as an adult when I was 18 years old, my first time incarcerated. Those points can carry 67 to 89 months in prison. Dom's words alone, he came to the court alone, got me a year on house arrest. If a man's words can do something like that to a judge that he probably doesn't even know, I mean, who knows what else it could do for people? He took 10 of us to Leavenworth, opposing gang members from different neighborhoods, and we didn't get along. We ended up getting along after that. That type of stuff doesn't happen every day, that we could come together and be cool just based off of a program. So I got out in 2020, and I had my son November 14th, 2020. I think the main part of having my son with me is basically like just trying to build him and shift him in a way that I know he's not gonna come out bad, or know he's not gonna go down the same paths I went down pretty much, and just thinking like every day your life is more devoted to trying to make sure you don't make the wrong moves so he doesn't see you being a bad person, or building things so he can have something when he grows up.
I started working with some of the OGs from some of the other different sets that changed their lives and that were able to come into this work. And we pulled them in and put them in training and got them lined up to go ahead and go back out here and recruit and pull these young people into the Deep Dive program. The Deep Dive program is called Deep Dive because it's daily engagement. Every single day you're engaging with your ambassador, and you have a case manager that you work with. These young people, through the prosecuting attorney's office algorithm, the shots fired program, were deemed to be shot or shoot somebody in a matter of 18 to 24 months. We've crushed those statistics. Through that work at Deep Dive, we've reached a lot of young people, but just think if we could have 150 people in a cohort, 200 people in a cohort, with triple the staff that we have. Deep Dive is one of my favorite programs out of all our programs so far, because of the fact that that's the demographic that I wanted to serve in the first place when I first started this organization. I wanted to go after the people that other people look down upon, point their finger at and shake their heads at. Those are the people I wanted to work with. And that's what Deep Dive gives us the opportunity to do.
All of these kids that could be career criminals that are no longer criminals anymore. And we're working on filling the whole scope of making sure every kid that we work with is successful and comes out of this program successful and have a good life.
Will we fully eradicate everything? No, but if we can get a rein on it and be able to let our community feel the love that we know that it needs and deserves, and support them in the way that they need to be supported, we're in the game.
So when you're supporting Community Passageways, you're not just supporting another nonprofit working with at-risk youth. You're supporting an organization that is filled with people who love this work,
filled with people from this community.
The reason why I do the work and I'm so invested and care about the work is because I didn't have that when I was growing up. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a community passageway program. I didn't have any of that. I didn't have a mentor I could call to ask for food when there's no food on my table. I didn't have that growing up. So the reason why I do it is to provide for the kids so they don't have to go through what I went through.
I look at my staff and go, this is incredible that we're able to take these people out of these situations and systems, train them up, and put them back into the communities where they've experienced harm. Community Passageways exist because we love our community, we are our community, and we'll never stop fighting for our community.